Let me tell you something that most men are too afraid to admit. You feel it, don't you? The quiet frustration, the confusion, the sense that you're slipping, but you can't quite say why. Not just slipping in life, slipping in power, in presence, in control. Your voice doesn't carry the same weight. Your presence doesn't command the same respect. You try harder, give more, sacrifice deeper, and yet the results are flat. You've been told it's because of the economy, or dating apps, or society, or your job, or your looks. But deep down, you know that's not it. Because the real war isn't out there. It's in here, inside you. Today I'm going to show you something different. A truth no one's ever told you. A truth that's ancient, that's been buried under noise and distraction. This isn't motivational fluff. This isn't self-help hype. This is war strategy. Stoic war strategy for modern men who feel like they're losing and are ready to fight back. Welcome to the awakening. Welcome to the truth. This is why modern men are losing their power, and the Stoic truth no one told you. Most men today are not weak. They're disconnected. Disconnected from meaning, from mission, from masculinity. You wake up, scroll, eat junk, perform a job that drains you, chase approval, numb the pain, sleep, repeat. And through it all, your soul gets quieter, your instincts get weaker, your decisions get slower. You weren't always like this. You were born to hunt, to build, to break, to protect, to conquer. But something happened. Something slow, subtle, deadly. You became soft in ways that look strong. You became busy in ways that feel productive. You became passive in ways that look polite, and you lost your edge. The ancient Stoics saw this crisis coming long before smartphones and algorithms. Seneca warned, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Most men today aren't failing because they're flawed. They're failing because they've never been tested. You've never been forced to decide who you are, so life decides for you. Let's stop pretending like we weren't conditioned to lose. You were taught to chase women instead of mission. You were taught to be polite instead of powerful. You were taught to avoid conflict instead of embracing clarity. You were told your masculinity was dangerous, your strength was threatening, your ambition was selfish, and now you wonder why you feel powerless. Because you gave up your frame, you gave up your center. You act how you're supposed to act, and inside, you're dying. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." But how free are you? When you can't go a day without checking validation from strangers. When a woman's interest or disinterest controls your self-worth. When your mood is tied to a phone screen. You were trained to fail. But here's the twist. You can untrain yourself. And it begins here. You know what real power sounds like? Nothing. It doesn't shout. It doesn't chase. It doesn't brag. It's quiet. The calm presence that makes people shift when you walk in. The unbothered glance that says, "I see everything." The man who doesn't flinch in chaos. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In other words, don't react. Reign. Most men are emotional slaves, pulled in every direction by external nonsense. She texts back, you're high. She goes cold, you're spiraling. A Stoic man doesn't move unless he chooses to. You want power? Get quiet. Train your nervous system to stay still when others shake. Speak less. Say more. Let your energy talk. You're not here to impress. You're here to anchor. Let's talk about the lie that's ruined more men than failure ever could. The nice guy. Nice guys finish last. Not because they're nice, but because they're fake. You say what she wants to hear. You suppress your truth. You avoid rejection like it's death. You don't want love. You want safety. But here's the truth. Women don't obsess over safe men. They obsess over certain men. Not reckless, not rude, but real. Real enough to say no. Real enough to walk away. Real enough to want her but not need her. You think self-sacrifice makes you valuable. But real men add value. They don't ask for permission to lead. They don't explain their worth. They embody it. Burn the script. Build the standard. Here's what no one tells you. She's not the prize, you are. If you build yourself into something rare, mentally strong, emotionally grounded, mission-driven, you become the gravity. She doesn't make your life meaningful, she joins it. But you've been programmed to beg, to prove, to perform. She tests you, you dance. She flakes, you chase. She disrespects, you apologize. And then you wonder why she's bored. Because you trained her to see you as replaceable. Reverse it. You are the standard, the gatekeeper, the force. She rises to meet you, or she exits. Either way, you stay centered. Pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Every time you dodge discomfort, you weaken your edge. The gym, the rejection, the silence, the fear, these are the fires where men are forged. Seneca said difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. So stop seeking ease, start seeking evolution. You want to become unshakable? Do the thing you keep avoiding. Pain doesn't break you, it introduces you to yourself. Most men don't live by principles. They live by reactions. The Stoics had a code. Control what you can. Accept what you can't. Live by virtue. Speak less. Mean more. Never outsource your peace. You can build your own. Your rules. Your line in the sand. Your definition of what it means to be a man. Without a code, you drift. With a code, you dominate. Write it. Live it. Die by it if you must. But never abandon it. Look around. Most men are just following. Copying trends. Quoting influencers. Mimicking behavior. Few create. Even fewer lead. You don't need more content. You need more solitude. You don't need more motivation. You need more mission. Cut the noise. Go inward. Forge your philosophy. Test your truth. And when you emerge, don't explain yourself. Just live it. You don't ask for respect, you command it. Not with aggression, but with alignment. A man who respects himself cannot be disrespected. You don't flinch. You don't chase. You don't explain. You just are. And people feel it. Presence is posture, breathing, tone, silence. And no woman, no man, no situation can give it to you. You must build it, brick by brick. The world will spin. People will panic. Desires will tempt. Fear will rise. But the Stoic man becomes the stone. Unmoved, still, a force of gravity. He doesn't yell. He doesn't beg. He doesn't explain. He just exists, so powerfully that the world must adapt. Be that man. If you felt something shift in this video, if something inside you woke up, type this in the comments. I reclaim my power. Then subscribe, not for motivation, but for discipline, for philosophy, for power. Because this isn't a channel, it's a brotherhood. Welcome to the few. Let's build, let's rise. Let's become the men the world forgot, but desperately needs. Stay grounded, stay sharp, stay silent. Your time begins now.